That's all coming up here on Top Story, brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion. Gasem cements the nation builder. Vodafone, the future is exciting. Ready? And Nationwide Medical Health Insurance, your healthcare family. I am Emefa Apau. And we start off from Men's Gold because they've dragged the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchanges Commission to court, accusing the two statutory institutions of hurting its business. In a suit filed today, the gold dealership firm is asking the court to slap aggravated damages on the two institutions. The company insists the notices given by BOG and SEC have been nothing more than an abuse of office by the two institutions and which have caused considerable reputational damage to the company. My colleague Elton Broby joins me with more on that suit. So before we get to the relief being sought by Men's Gold, give us a background to this legal challenge, Elton.
So MFA, as you may be aware, Men's Gold has been operating a business transaction which requires customers do deposit cash for gold value, which is invested in return, paid on it to customers every month. The transaction has become popular with customers evidently happy with the operations by the gold dealers, but there has been some concerns about lack of regulation, and the Bank of Ghana stepped in and they issued a number of statements cautioning the general public to desist from saving or investing money at Men's Gold Ghana Company Limited. Now, the statement in part said that the activities of Men's Gold were in breach of Section 61 of the bank's specialized deposit-taking instruments, and according to the BOG, the gold dealers had no place in the business of solicitation, receipt of money, and the payment of dividends to its clients, but the company persists in its deposit-taking activity. Now, Men's Gold has adopted an approach in dealing with the BOG, where we see Nana Appiah-Mensah at some point calling the bluff of the regulatory body at one time, and another apologizing and pledging to work with it. Remember, SEC also stepped in, and as we speak, there's some kind of a freeze on some aspect of the operation. So that is the background surrounding this particular issue.
But do we know what Men's Gold is seeking the court to actually do in this matter?
Well, it's a long list of reliefs that they're asking the court to do. One, a declaration that the plaintiff business does not fall within the present legislative scope of the banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions. That's according to Act 2016 at 930. Also, a declaration that the plaintiff business activity does not fall within the present legislative scope of the Securities Agencies Act 2016 at 929. So these are some of the, and they also goes on to state in part the impact the back and forth with from SEC and BOG has had on their businesses, and they sum up by saying that through several correspondence through the lawyers, they've made it emphatically clear to the Bank of Ghana and SEC that it does not accept deposit from customers or carry on deposit-taking business in Ghana. Neither does it trade in securities, and that the plaintiff activities, which are vested and restricted, among others, allows its customer to sell gold on its value market. The plaintiff avers that this activity is neither within the present legislative scope of the banks and specialized deposit-taking institution, and because of the back and forth, they are going through a lot of PR damage that is hurting their reputation, and for that reason they want the court to pronounce and restrain the BOG and the Securities and Exchange Commission from going to what it plans to do with Men's Gold. Okay, so we are trying to speak to the lawyers for Men's Gold, Mr. Kwame Ekufu. We would need to find out whether ongoing discussions with BOG and the Securities and Exchanges Commission will be suspended. Elton, have we been able to find out? We don't know that for a fact just yet, do we? But just a few minutes ago, Men's Gold came up with another statement, and they're talking about still the title is still suspended, and this is addressed to their customers. It says a similar interview was carried on some media houses across the country yesterday, stating once again that the Securities and Exchange Commission had not stopped Men's Gold Ghana from paying out existing contracts. We would like to state that whilst this should be considered an interesting turn of events, we will find this very surprising because the aspects of our operations which was suspended includes the issuing of dividends, which directly falls under the Gold Vault Market Program, and also an unforeseen halt placed on our trading. It goes on to say that it has come to as a shock to them because no trading has been done during the entire duration of the halt. No new contract have been received, As such, payment of dividends at this time will only seek to have a negative effect on the company. Therefore, it is with tremendous regret to inform our cherished customers that despite what SEC is saying, they cannot go on and pay the dividends.
Okay, so there's a press conference that was just addressed by Men's Gold, and my colleague Bismarck Kawusa of Joy Business was there and joins us on the line. So Bismarck, bring us up to speed on what actually Men's Gold was seeking to address. Hello, Bismarck. Hello, Bismarck. It looks like we don't have Bismarck Kawusa on the line, but like I said, Men's Gold Ghana addressed a press conference a while ago, and he would brief us on it. Bismarck, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, MFL, loud and clear.
Very well. So bring us up to speed on what was Men's Gold was seeking to address this afternoon.
Okay, so MFL, basically, I got out of a press briefing. Was very brief, actually, between Men's Gold and the media. And basically what they are saying is that they have filed a lawsuit against the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchange Commission on what they describe as unnecessary obstructions, MFA.
So did they say what they are seeking? Of course, we've seen the suit, but did they make mention of paying dividends and whether ongoing discussions with the BOG and Securities and Exchange Commission has been suspended? Same.
Exactly, MFA. What they are saying is that from tonight, they are going to furnish their customers with somewhat text messages to indicate to them that from tomorrow, hopefully, they are going to commence payments of their maturities, MFA.
That's Bismarck Kawusa there of Joy Business. We'll get more details on that shortly, but we are still making efforts to reach the lawyers for Men's Gold Ghana. As and when we're able to, we'll do that. Now let's turn our attention to our second issue on Top Story tonight. Chairman of Parliament's Communications Committee, Kennedy Agyapong, is tonight faulting Sector Minister Eslo Owusu for the confusion surrounding the StarTimes deal. The Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association has petitioned the committee to intervene over what they say is unfair treatment by government in favor of StarTimes of China. Mr. Agyapong says the minister kept MPs in the dark over the deal despite claims by the minister that MPs had been adequately informed. Listen to Minister of Communications insisting that the Communications Committee members have been adequately informed on the deal.
And there's a lot more work available for us in this space going forward. So let's not behave as if this is the end of the world. It isn't.
Okay, Honorable, was there extensive consultation between the Communications Committee and the ministry on this particular?
There has always been consultation between the Communications Ministry and the Communications in Parliament. And so a whole presentation on this has been done to them during the process for approval of the tax waivers. They are aware. Now, if for some reason some member was not present during the presentation, that cannot be the fault of the ministry. The opportunity was provided for them to be brought up to speed and briefed on what was going on. Those who were there were briefed. Those who were not cannot falter.
So you heard the Eslo Owusu Communications Minister insisting that the Parliamentary Communications Committee of Parliament have been duly or adequately informed on the deal. But speaking after a meeting with GIBA executives today, the chairman of the committee, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, claimed that MPs have been kept in the dark.
We don't have a problem going to meet the minister, but I think the appropriate approach is to rather invite the minister to come to the committee and brief us. We are left in the dark. So today, I'm not too sure. Any member who wants to go has the liberty to go. But it is not the committee's position. That I'll be frank with you. It's not the committee's position to go.
Is that already on the table, an invitation to the minister?
Yes, we have an invitation. It's a stakeholders meeting. And committee, we are also there. You see, my members will say that I have a slip lip. Now this problem happened because of the minister. I'll tell you like this, don't push me.
Chairman, it's okay.
You see, okay, let's say it. So we've decided to call the minister herself to come and brief us what happened. Thank you.
Unfortunately, the chairman of the committee, Kennedy Agyapong, was stopped by Sam George from giving us any further details as to why he's blaming the Ministry of Communications for all the controversy surrounding the StarTimes deal. But earlier, the meeting between Giba and the committee was disrupted following verbal exchanges that we are told led to near physical blows between the chairman of the committee, Kennedy Agyapong, and a member, Sam George. They both spoke to the media about the incident. Let's first hear from the chairman, Kennedy Agyapong.
Initially, there was misunderstanding between myself and Honorable Sam George. So we had to break for a while and then go to chamber. Apparently, I wasn't happy what he said yesterday with the Imani, but he had a reason for saying whatever he said because somebody made a statement actually insulting the integrity of the committee. So his response, we had earlier met that we were going to meet Giba on Thursday. So I was surprised to hear him talking. Honestly speaking, what the person said, I did not hear until today when the problem happened. Then we retired to chambers. Then he also explained that you didn't listen to me. I was furious because of the statement this person made against the committee, which we have taken a decision is not going to end here because of what the person said against the committee. So I've apologized to him. Then I also question, why is it that I'm the chairman of the committee? You hear something like this, you don't tell me, say, well, you don't pick your phone sometimes, chairman. And I'm saying, you are not the woman, so well, I'll not pick you. So he also apologized to me. And then, so initially, yes, I confronted him because I was really furious of yesterday because of previous decision we had all taken. But honestly, after we came back, we had a fruitful discussion. And you can ask Giba whatever decisions we took and how the deliberations went. So I'll leave it to him also.
But I'm talking about your confrontation with him. Was it physical?
No. I hear Honorable Mubarak was saying it was physical. No, it wasn't physical. He's here. He will tell you if it's physical. Look, I'm a black belt. If it's physical, you would have seen a man. You would have seen a man. No, I was furious, I will admit, but it's based on what I heard him say. And he was also furious because of what the person said.
You heard the chairman of the Parliament's Communications Committee, Kennedy Agyapong. Sam George also tells us his side as well.
This morning, we agreed to meet with Giba, and at the beginning of the meeting, there was some misunderstanding over my comment I'd made on the Money platform yesterday. My chairman felt that post our Tuesday committee meeting, I should have stayed any comment on the matter. But I later drew his attention to the fact that someone had passed comments that cast aspersion on the integrity of the entire Committee of Communications. And that is why I had to go and clear the air on the Money platform, because the person had spoken to the media and the media was present at that platform. Post that, we came back and had fruitful engagement with Giba. And going forward, Giba is meeting with the ministry this afternoon. We would also be having further meetings with other stakeholders like NCA and the ministry to understand fully this matter. And as a committee, we will continue to exercise our oversight responsibility. So anybody who says there was a fiscal confrontation, I am the son of a fisherman. And so if he had come with his black belt, he would have met a fisherman's son. So we won't be standing here together if there had been a confrontation. One of us would have been headed for Korle Bu by now.
Moving forward.
Yes, we're listening to Top Story here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, it's been a busy day for Giba because after meeting Parliament's Communications Committee, they were also scheduled to meet the National Communications Authority as well as the Communications Ministry. My colleague Samuel Emmanuel Sabute is there, but I'm told also that we have Mr. Andrew Danso Aninkra, the Giba president himself, also joining us. But let's speak to Andrew Danso Aninkra first, then we'll get to Emmanuel Sabute. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Aninkra. Welcome to Top Story. So it's been quite a day for you, like I said. Let's start off with your meeting with the Communications Committee of Parliament. How did it end?
Well, we thank God that we managed to get audience with the Communications Committee. It ended very well. We have assurances of continuing engagement, and Parliament has also shown interest in the matters that we took to them. We hope we'll be able to continue with them into the future and then bring sanity into all the issues that we have been discussing.
If you say it ended well, how well did it end?
We ended on a very fruitful note with promises of re-engagement. Later on, we'll have to be sending some other issues to Parliament for discussion, to the committee for further deliberations.
So, for instance, what concrete decisions were taken at that meeting, for instance?
Our main concern before now has been the non-engagement. And once Parliament opens its door, the committee opens its door to us, we believe that we have crossed a major milestone. That is quite important.
And this re-engagement with the committee would come back, it would resume. Do we know when else would it happen?
I didn't get that question, if you can come.
I'm asking that you're saying that the engagement, there will be re-engagement, and I'm asking that if there will be another re-engagement with the Communications Committee.
Yeah, it's a continuous process, and the Communications Committee has asked us to keep in touch with them. If we have issues that we think we have to engage them, we'll be going back to them. We felt at a point in time that government has closed its doors and we were not getting avenues to address our issues. But in this particular case, they have given us the assurance that anytime we have issues that we want to discuss, it is better for us to come and discuss it and get them involved in what we are doing.
So, for instance, you had clear concerns about unfair playing field, for instance, regarding how Star Times has been treated as against how Ghanaian broadcasters have been treated. Those issues, for instance, was it addressed?
Yeah, so that is one of the issues that Parliament will look into. The committee will look into that. They will address that particular issue and then they'll get back to us with appropriate response.
Now, let's head to your meeting with the Communications Ministry. You've been asking for this meeting for months now. It finally came. What were the issues that you put on the table?
So we discussed the issues that we came to public space with, public arena with, and then at the end of the day, we have issued a communication to the press where the Minister of Information will be coming out with the statement which we use to address all the issues. We believe that we have had a very successful meeting tonight and the doors have been open for further deliberation. We'll be meeting again in 4 weeks and all other issues will be trashed in that particular meeting.
So if you had a successful meeting, for instance, with the Communications Ministry, does it mean to say that some of the deals, for instance, will be called off? How exactly is it successful?
Successful in the sense that we have agreed on going back to the roadmap. We have agreed that we'll continue engagement. We have agreed that we will stick to the earlier plan to engage to use the Digital Migration Committee. The company that is to be set up to manage the DTT platform. So these are some of the issues that came up today.
Were Gilbert's fears, for instance, allayed? Did it turn out that you were actually making ugly noises?
We'd want to depart from here and go forward because at least we managed to get some kind of a meeting which has not happened since February. And we are glad that this meeting has taken place. Whatever happened belongs to the past now. We'd want to look forward with hope.
So for your members listening, do you have are you going to get a portion of this cake, this DTT cake? Are you getting a portion? Your members are listening. They are eager to hear.
Definitely the DTT belongs to the people of Ghana. We are on the platform. We hope that we'll be able to manage it. We'll be able to make input to the development of the platform. And we believe that this particular meeting has opened the door for further engagement. That had been one of our concerns, that the engagement had been on the low side and decision has been taken without much consultation. But we believe now we have what we have been looking for. There will be a lot of consultation. And if there are the need for some corrections to be made going forward, the policy document will be put in operation and we'll look at the policy document that will guide how the company that is to be set up would operate.
But how sure are we that in the coming months or so, by the end of the year, we won't be having the same meetings or the same talk with Giba about these very same concerns? What kind of assurances were you giving that leaving this meeting, every decision that was taken would be surely implemented?
The assurance we have is that we are meeting in 4 weeks' time. 4 weeks is not too, in fact, between 3 weeks and 4 weeks. So that 3 weeks is just 21 days away from now. We believe that in 21 days when we are able to meet, or at most in 4 weeks when we are able to meet, that then will be that we are keeping to the roadmap, we are keeping to our promises. We hope we will not renegade in this particular direction.
So, Mr. Aninkwa, just before I let you off, earlier today at your meeting in Parliament, we were told something happened in your presence, near the exchanges, verbal exchanges that turned into near blows. What is your account? What did you witness?
I didn't go there to witness anything of the sort. I went there to witness a meeting that was to take place, and there was a few hold-ups, but in the end of the day, the meeting came up.
What were these hold-ups?
Well, some people were not present when we were supposed to start, and then the parliamentary committee also had to have their own meeting separately, and then they called us back, and the meeting took place. So
you were not there when Mr. Sam George and the chairman of the committee, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, had some heated exchanges. Were you there?
We didn't know where this report came from.
You were not in that meeting, Mr. Aninkwa?
I don't know where the report is coming from.
Okay, because we've heard from the two, they've actually confirmed that something of that nature happened, and it happened in your presence. You're saying you were not there?
I'm not sure they mentioned my name, Andrew Danso Aninkra, that I was present when it happened.
Okay, they mentioned Giba, not your name though.
All right.
Okay. Ms. Aninkra, we are grateful for your time. Andrew Danso Aninkra is the Giba president, and he's been telling us about their long day, those meetings they had from Parliament all the way to the Communications Ministry with the Communications NCA, and then also the Communications Ministry and other stakeholders. They've been having that meeting. I'm told that we're expecting a statement from the Ministry of Information, and they are also supposed to meet in 4 weeks' time on the same issue. But my colleague Ebenezer Sabote, like I said, has been nosing around these meetings and joins us on the line. Ebenezer, so tell us, what did you witness? How long was this meeting?
Okay, so the meeting took about 3 hours. It started actually at 2 o'clock and it ended at 5:30 something before the ministers came out and then called us to give us a briefing. So it was about 3 hours meeting.
I'm sure that you witnessed those going in there. Who actually were in this meeting?
Okay, so if I could put names to it, I saw Mr. Fonkwame of MultiChoice Ghana. I saw Dr. William Ampim-Dakum, the former Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and I saw some other officials also from KNET and the NAFTI. There were some representation from the National Communications Authority and then also the Ministry of Finance and some other stakeholders as well.
But what would you say was the mood amongst those who were attending this meeting? What was the talk around them?
I think I would describe it as a fruitful, discourse, because after the meeting you could see everyone smiling and just shaking hands, unlike the way we thought it could be from the beginning. So they were just shaking hands, and then we all felt, it went well. They concluded on some 3 key issues or key points, which I would like to highlight. That first, there will be a joint public education campaign on the DTT, and then also secondly, that an independent entity, that is the Central Digital Transmission Company Limited, which is handling the DTT platform, will continue to manage and operate the infrastructure. And then also thirdly, both parties will continue with the engagement as and when, so the process ends. So that was the 3, keynotes that they ended on. The Minister of Information is expected to issue a press statement on these 3.
But were you able to get a word or so? We know we're expecting that statement from the Ministry of Information, but were you able to get a word from the Ministry of Communications, for instance, after this meeting?
He declined an interview, but he assured us that by 7 p.m. this evening, the press statement will be out.
That's my colleague Ebenezer Sabote there. Thank you very much, Ebenezer. So he's speaking to us from the Communications Ministry. You also heard Giba earlier. We're hoping to be able to speak to the ranking member of the Communications Committee, Alhaji ABA Fuseni, also on this. We also heard earlier the chairman of Parliament's Communications Committee, and he's actually blaming the Communications Minister for all this controversy around the StarTimes deal, for keeping Parliament in the dark. We've also heard the Communications Minister said earlier that Parliament has been adequately equipped or informed about the StarTimes deal. It looks like Giba is also very happy at this point after this meeting, and we'll wait for that minister, the statement from the Ministry of Information after these meetings. So that's it for Top Story, brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans, your success, our passion, Gassam Cement, the nation builder, Vodafone, the future is exciting, ready, and Nationwide Medical Health Insurance, your healthcare family. Do stay. Newsnight is up shortly. We are heading to Parliament, and we are told that the minority is blaming government for Special Prosecutor's inability to effectively discharge his duties. We have details shortly. Do stay.